didn't know you'd started recording. Are the volumes all right? Never mind. Okay.
Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is a podcast, listen to a podcast. Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is the podcast, listen to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cinnamon Lampshade.
Thank you, ladies. You're all very kind. I dedicate this next song to a very special lady who doesn't love me anymore. But I hope you're listening, Caroline. Well, I always thought that I had quite a gift as a judge of human character. This is the day and the time and the place, and I wonder where you are. Surely we said it was 3 p.m. Surely we said it was March the 10th. Equator, you said you'd meet me there. You must be just around the bend. Equator, you said you'd meet me there. Equator, you said you'd be right there. Equator, oh yeah. Equator, do-do-do-do-do. Equator, do-do-do-do-do. Equator.
Hi, pod fans, it's me, Matt Cornah. Matt Party Time Corner. And welcome to Matt and Cobley's podcast with me, Matt Cornah, the aforementioned. I'm joined today by my special guest, Cobley.
Party time.
Matt Party Time Corner. I'm trying to inject a bit of energy at the top of the show to get us in the mood for it.
Well, it's just put me off. I want to go home now.
Shall we start again? Hi, I'm Matt Corner, and welcome to the podcast.
It's better. Better sounds sadder.
Better sadder, isn't it?
Yeah, just imagine everyone's died. Yeah. Everyone that you like has died. Not everyone.
Well, everyone I like is dead.
Well, imagine that.
Dead to me, anyway.
Think about it. And do the podcast introduction again. Come on.
Hello,
you can do it.
Welcome to Matt Cobley's podcast, and I'm joined today by my only remaining friend, Cobley. And you're just listening to Cinnamon Lampshade's cover of Sparks doing a cover of Equator.
Alright, it's a bit too sad.
Which is a song about the equator in Africa.
I feel bad now, man.
This week's episode is...
I'm sorry, Matt.
Why did they have to die? This week's episode is about geography. I'm sorry if my intro was a bit morose today. I've been going through a bad time of it, and we're just gonna try and get through it. Just gonna try and get through it.
Well, I did start feeling bad for you, but now I just want to slap you.
All right then.
Okay.
Yeah, so this week's episode's about geography, because the premise of this podcast is that me and my friend Cobley talk about stuff that we don't know anything about.
Oh, not much about.
I don't know anything about geography. That's why it takes me so long to find my flat.
And I don't know anything about geography, even though I studied geography as an A-level and got a B, I think.
Did I not do that? No, I didn't, did I?
No, you did GCSE, didn't you? Yeah. But I've got a reasonably advanced
You've got A level of geography
grade in geography, and I don't know anything about it. Yeah, my mother basically forced me to do geography. I wanted to do a lot of other things as well.
What did you want to do instead of geography, Cobley?
I don't know, like something creative.
You just wanted to do dance. Was it dance?
Yeah, I wanted to do dance. And my mum said, "You're not doing dance.
No son of man's going to be doing any dancing about what? They don't know where they are."
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's what she said. Yeah. So I had to do geography.
Strange voice, your mum.
She has. Well, so yeah, it was an utterly boring subject, but I was quite good at it, which is why I picked it.
Well, you know what stuff is, don't you? So
What do you mean I
like-
know where stuff is? Well, like
Well, that's the main thing
my
about
pencil
geography.
case.
Yeah.
I know where that is.
Geographically speaking, you can tell me precisely where your pencil case is.
I probably could.
Your pencil case, that's right, a pencil case.
I probably-
We've all got one.
Yeah, I probably could.
Yeah. So that's good, isn't it? And you get a grade for that in the you get a level in it.
Mhm.
You get a level. But how have you
qualification.
been anyway, Cobley?
Qualification.
Enough of this bollocks.
Sorry. Before we descend into shit. I've been...
Too late for that, mate.
yeah, you're right, yeah. I've been okay, Matt. I've been all right.
Good to hear it. Thank God.
I've got nothing to...
It was touch and go for a bit there, but you've pulled through. Okay.
No.
Yep.
No, I never pull through. I'm just stuck.
You always come out not the same man you were when you went in.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I'm doing okay in answer to the
It's about
question.
geography, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I hazard to ask this question.
You hazard, do you?
Wait a minute.
You hazard to ask. Hesitate, surely.
Yeah. I hesitate to ask this question.
It's hazardous, isn't it?
How are you, Matt?
I'm okay. I've been having a bit of a clear out. I've got to get rid of all the old stuff. Having a bit of clear out.
I noticed this place was a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
a little bit.
I bought some spray.
A bit clearer. A bit clearer.
Spray to clear it.
Spray?
The,
Antibacterial spray?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Clean the walls with it.
Right, so you've cleaned the house. That's really good, Matt. I'm glad.
Yeah. Anyway, I've been going through all the old boxes of old stuff from years gone by, and I found my old phone from back in 2010.
Right. Your old mobile, right.
Yes. My old Nokia, whatever it's called, 464.
Back when everyone had Nokias.
Yeah. I don't know where I put it.
Oh, you've got it in your hands.
Well, I thought I'd bring it along because I had a feeling you were going to ask me how I was.
What do you mean bring it along? We're at your apartment.
Thought I'd bring it along from the room it was in into the room we record these podcasts in.
Okay.
Because I had a feeling you would bring up how I was, and I thought the best way to illustrate how I was would be to read you out some of the texts from yesteryear.
So you've just been sat in your apartment, cleaning and reading old text messages?
Well, it started as cleaning, but mainly reading old text messages.
That's quite depressing.
Anyway, I thought it might amuse or interest you to hear the last text message I got from you on this phone.
Is it just full of expletives?
Is that what they call them now? I thought it was emojis. Satire. So I thought I'd have a look at what you'd sent me back in those hazy days of 2010.
Good times.
When this phone was still a modern phone.
Yeah.
When we were still young.
Young.
When we had hope.
Hope, dreams, love.
When all my friends hadn't died.
I'm interested to know what the last text message is from me.
I've got quite a lot from my dad about. It was just something he had going at the time. Never mind. Okay. Bill. Dennis. Oh, here we go. Cobley. Well, it's a two-part text. Part one is this. Matt, I started doing the Woodland Bop, that's in speech marks, this morning. And now I'm finding it really hard to stop. Sad face.
Show me. I don't remember sending this. Oh, yeah.
Part two of the text is asterisk keeps on bopping, asterisk. Because back in the day, putting an asterisk, or an asterisk as I like to call them, at either side of a verb phrase was an indicator that you were doing it.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I remember now, Matt.
What?
At first I thought you were just making up, and then you showed me.
Yeah.
And I've just had a flash. You know those flashbacks that people have?
Yeah.
You know, like you don't remember something, and then someone tells you something, and then you flash back, and you
flashback.
remember what it was like.
You just flash.
Well, I just
flash
remembered
right back.
about 7 years ago, waking up and doing the Woodland Bop. I remember texting you that now. You know when I stopped as well?
Did you ever stop? Did you ever stop?
Well, I'm not doing the Woodland Bop now, am I?
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
It could be a very intricate and subtle version, though. You can never be sure. You could go into remission.
Maybe I'm still bopping. No.
Everybody's doing the Woodland Bop. Once you start, you'll find it hard to stop. Everybody's doing the Woodland Bop.
It's a terrifying thought.
It took a good few weeks to stop bopping. Yeah. It's weird that you reminded me about that. I just completely forgot until I had that flashback thing. Yeah. Anyway, we're meant to be talking about geography, aren't we?
Well, you got into some interesting places when you were doing all that bopping.
I bopped around the world. I bopped on the sea. I bopped on the sands. I bopped on the, the planet Saturn.
Oh, yeah?
It's got like a ring, around it.
Yeah.
I bopped on that.
You did a bop on that?
I did a little bop
You did a
on
bop
that,
on
yeah.
Saturn?
I had to hold my breath, though, so I couldn't do a long bop, otherwise I'd have died. Yeah. All right, yeah. I remember doing the Woodland Bop.
Yeah.
It was a good few weeks, actually. It was fun. Like nowadays, it'd be all over Twitter and I'd be getting loads of followers and people going,
Keep on bopping Cobley.
keep on bopping Cobley. But back then it was, there was no Facebook.
Keep on bopping Cobley.
Yeah, back in 2000.
That would have been a hit single as well, Keep on bopping Cobley.
Probably would have, yeah, someone would have remixed it,
Keep
wouldn't they?
on bopping Cobley.
Yeah. But back in 2010, there was no Facebook. There was no nothing, was there?
There was nothing. There was just
We had books, didn't we?
books, sticks.
Seagulls.
Yeah, we had seagulls, didn't we?
Yeah, don't have them anymore, do we? When's the last time you seen a seagull?
But you go on about it to kids these days, and they're like, "What are you on about, mate? You're mental."
Well, that's it. If I mention the Woodland Bop to these kids nowadays that all are on Facebook and taking photos of the fucking feet and the food that they're eating and the food that they're putting their feet into and stuff, they don't care. They don't care about the Woodland Bop. It was a special time back in 2010.
It was a special time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Simpler times, Matt. Simpler times. We should do a podcast about 2010.
What it was like, because
What it was back then.
So few people, I don't want to make this too morose at the top of the podcast, in spite of the way I started it, but, we've lost a lot of people in the
We have.
intervening time.
Yeah.
Since 2010, and...
Well, at least 14 people have died,
It's like a different era of humanity, isn't it?
Yeah. A new generation. Yeah, we're like...
we're like old boppers.
We're old hat, aren't we? We're old hat. That's what they say, these kids nowadays, don't they? That's old hat.
Old hat.
You're old hat, you. That's what people say when I walk down the street. You're old hat. And I just go, fuck off. And headbutt them. No one calls me old hat twice.
That's true, isn't it? No one ever does.
No. I like how this is just descending into utter surrealism. We have nothing
You're a
to
deeply
say.
angry man,
We have
and you
nothing.
don't like being called old hat!
I don't like being called old hat.
Right.
But also, we've got fucking nothing to say about geography, have we,
Right.
mate? Really?
But the important lesson, the moral of that story is you've got to stand up to people who call you old hat by headbutting them until there's nothing left of their face.
Well, there can be a bit left.
Just not the bit that enables them to, form words.
Yeah.
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 That's the moral.
Just confess to some serious assault.
It's true, we don't have any things to say about geography. But don't worry, listeners, this isn't going to just descend into another bloody, an anecdote about how our teacher at geography at school was a bit of a knob.
Yeah, we're not going to be going in getting childish like that and saying
No.
things like our old geography teacher was a complete twat or that he was a arrogant piece of shit.
Yeah. Or that he was a massive prong.
Yeah.
Or that he was like a spunk-covered criminal.
Yeah. Or that he used to turn his computer on in the geography office and look at pictures of himself and wank.
Yeah.
Because he loved himself so much.
Yeah. Or that he used to go out, right, and he used to take pictures of himself. Yeah, for the computer thing, right?
Yeah.
And then he used to post it through people's letterboxes covered in spunk and say, look at this, in Sharpie written all over it, even though Sharpies weren't invented back then because it was 2010.
Yeah.
Or that we won't even say that. Like old ladies' letterboxes, he's like, oh, look at that. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we're not going to be saying stuff
we
like that.
We won't be saying any of
because that, my friend, is slanderous.
Yeah.
And also, I can't remember any of my geography teachers, so I can't
single one
because it was so long ago. I can't form an opinion on them on him. Yeah, so geography's like countries, isn't it?
I mean, that's very concisely put. I admire your brevity.
Thanks, Matt.
We could have wrapped the episode on that, really, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
Matt and Cobley's podcast, doo-be-doo-be-doo. Matt and Cobley's podcast, doo-be-doo-be-doo. Matt and Cobley's podcast.
But we won't.
Wait.
Because I've just thought, what countries have you been to?
Well, I've been to a few countries.
Yeah. List them all now.
No.
Okay.
I went to South Wales with my mum and dad when I was only 7 years old.
Oh, did you?
And
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I went out without putting
Sorry,
any...
listeners. By the way, whenever Cobley remembers when he was 7, he reverts to
that
age vocally as well as mentally. So
I went out without wearing any sun cream, and the sun was very hot in South Wales at that time of the year. It was probably about August time.
Oh, Cobley, do you want a lolly?
What?
Sorry, I was talking to the 7-year-old you. Go back. Go back.
No, fuck off.
Can I not interact with the 7-year-old you?
No.
I
can't think of a punchline for that, so never mind. I've been to Tenerife.
Tenerife! Where is Tenerife?
Shittest fucking holiday that I've ever been on in my entire existence on this planet.
Okay. So...
Not only because it was with a ex-lady friend of mine.
Right, I mean, that's awkward, isn't it, going on holiday with your ex?
Well, well, she wasn't my ex at the time. Although
you should
that probably would have been quite awkward, actually, Matt. I can imagine sitting on the aeroplane with no knowledge that she's going to be there, and then by pure chance, sits down. And
also, by pure chance, you've booked the same hotel room.
Yeah, I suppose that's a bit more surreal, isn't it?
Yeah. Still, tell me about your time in Tenerife with your ex that wasn't your ex at the time, who, for the purposes of this podcast, we'll call Andrea.
I like it. You're doing my thing.
Yeah. I'm getting good at this, protecting the names of the innocent kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good name, Andrea. Yeah. It's a bit of a stupid name, really, but it's good.
It's pathetic, stupid.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to use that name in this anecdote, anyway. Yeah.
Because no one is implicated.
So anyway, the reason I had a shit time at Tenerife was not just because me and old Andrea didn't really get on very well.
Call her Andy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just because me and Andy didn't really get on very well. It's more the fact that I spent the entire week sat on a sun lounger waiting to go home whilst kids threw beach balls at my head at a 3-star all-inclusive hotel.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it was awful.
Sounds completely fine.
Well, you go next time.
Is that part of the package, the kids throwing beach balls at you?
No. There's not really much else to say about that holiday. It was horrific. It was just horrific.
Well, I don't think you know how to do a holiday right if you spent the whole time just waiting to go home. Aren't you meant to go around and do stuff? Isn't there a lot of culture in Tenerife?
No, there's nothing in Tenerife.
What about the Tenerife Museum?
There probably is, but I'm so miserable that I didn't even attempt to look for that. I was just really bored in this hotel. It was a family hotel, and there was just me and old Andy and loads of children with beach balls. So that's what grated me at first.
Children armed to the teeth with beach balls.
And then everything else became annoying. I wanted nothing more than to die or go home.
Right.
Or go home and die. I feel angry now, actually, just thinking about it. Can I punch you all?
You best not, actually. Oh, you bastard. Made a plaster that'll fall apart.
I'd have felt bad if I'd have just put a hole in it. Ow. I've actually hurt my knuckle.
This is verite, though, right?
Being dramatic.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a commercial break anyway, so I can calm myself down.
Yeah. Don't be punching that wall again. You're in trouble with me, landlord.
I won't.
Terry's his mate.
All right.
He's gonna kick my head in.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Darling, I'm home. Why don't I hear the harmonious sizzling of those wall sausages? Ah!
Some more sausages. Drum well done. Coming right up, darling. Coming right fucking up. Sausages. Wall sausages.
Well, that was an exciting advert, wasn't it?
It was all right. So it was okay.
You've become quite bitter about this, I think.
What?
I can always tell with you, you get all sulky and you sort of retract into yourself.
Well, I say this every single fucking week.
Yeah,
Matt. To the point where there's
I think it's worth explaining to the listeners, though.
There's no point.
Yeah.
The listeners listening to this podcast, they might as well just listen to episode 1 10 times over because I just keep saying the same thing. Yeah, we're sponsored by Wall Sausages now. Yeah, that was done against my will. Yeah, we've now got a bouncer outside our door making us do podcasts.
He's sulking because he tried to get a sponsorship deal with a different company.
Well,
and it didn't go through. And then I had the initiative to find the brilliant people at Wall Sausages and Terry, their bouncer, who's forcing us to do these podcasts in promotion thereof. And you're furious about it.
Well, I didn't want to go into detail about that. That's private. It's private. But yeah, I had a good deal lined up for a sponsorship just prior to your Walls one with Pocari Sweat.
Yeah, Pocari Sweat. Now, I think maybe it seems incredible, but you might have to explain to the listeners at home what that even is.
It's an amazing drink from East Asia.
Yeah.
Where
in East Asia?
Well, it's all over, I'm led to believe.
Oh, right.
We travelled to Japan a couple of years ago, me and Matt,
Mm-hmm.
and our chum,
Boys' road trip to Japan.
a chum called
Yeah,
Les.
plane.
Yeah, it was good. And there was just an amazing drink there called Pocari Sweat.
Mm.
And not only did it have an amazing name,
Yeah.
Pocari Sweat, a drink, it also tasted really nice as well. So yeah, I tried to get a sponsorship deal from them.
Well, you were in talks directly with Pocari, weren't you?
Well, yeah.
Or his heir. I don't know if it's still the original Pocari.
It is the original Pocari.
It is the same guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the. It's quite a secretive the whole how is this water made and stuff. But I'm 94% sure that the drink actually is the sweat of Pocari. Who's the guy that invents
Well,
the
I
drink?
mean, the thing about that is that if it wasn't his sweat, that'd be
Well, it'd be a lie then, wouldn't it?
They'd get in trouble with
It'd be wrong.
trading standards, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Trading standards.
Yeah. It's a sad tale about a man named Pocari who realised one day that his sweat tasted really nice.
This is good, by the way. I like a product that has a backstory.
Yeah.
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 Like
well,
Werther's
that's why I
Originals.
wanted him to sponsor the podcast, because it would have been good then. But anyway, as I was saying, it's a sad tale about a man named Pocari
He's absolutely furious about
who
it.
one day realised that his sweat tasted quite nice.
Nectar of the gods.
And also realised that he sweated quite profusely as well. And he bottled it and started selling it on the corner of a street and made a few...
It's like a rags to riches tale, isn't it? Except
Well, the
sweat
problem
to
is
less sweat.
when the shareholders started getting involved and buying out, parts of Pocari Sweat, Pocari became less of a entrepreneur and owner of the company Pocari Sweat and more of a slave to Pocari Sweat, where he was being injected daily with medication to make him sweat more and more so that they could produce more and more Pocari Sweat for more and more people to drink and be energized.
Well, that's where people say the product went downhill, isn't it? When he was sort of being artificially forced to perspire, and he was rigged up to that machine, wasn't he, with all the pipes coming out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just going, oh.
Yeah, so nowadays he's just strapped up in a factory whilst his sweat is bottled and sold, but it tastes really nice.
But this is a real drink that exists in Japan.
With a real backstory.
With a real backstory. Japan is a place, so that's kind of geography, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And the other thing I remember about Pocari Sweat is it had quite a good jingle. And a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
I sweat, you sweat, Pocari sweats.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel a bit bad for him, but when I'm drinking his sweat, it's kind of like drinking milk, really.
Yeah.
Because cows are hooked up to things.
Well,
aren't they,
a
and
lot of
produce
it does
milk.
come from the teat area.
Yeah. So
doesn't
what's the difference with Pocari and a cow?
What is that's a very good question, Cobley. What is the difference between the sweat from beneath the teat of an aging East Asian man who bottles his sweat for money and the milk
Against his will.
Yeah, against his will.
Nowadays, anyway.
And the milk of a lactating recent mother?
Cow.
These are some of the questions that only this podcast has the guts to raise.
Well, the answer is there's not much difference.
There is not. I felt like reinvigorated when I drank it like I was a baby.
If I drink Pocari Sweat and feel guilty, but then drink a glass of milk and not feel guilty, then I'm a hypocrite, aren't I?
Exactly. Best thing to do is to keep drinking it and milk.
I went to a Japanese shop in London a few months ago, actually, and discovered some dry Pocari Sweat.
Okay,
You
so
just added water to it and it became, and I was like, this is fucking great. Like, I found Pocari Sweat in the United Kingdom.
in its purest distilled form.
Yes, I took it home, kept it in a cupboard for far too long.
Right.
And it, and when I went to have it, it was only a couple of weeks ago, actually, I went to have it, and it had gone off, and it was just all sticky and slimy, and I couldn't mix it. It was meant to be like a powder you mix into water, and I wept. I wept tears, I bottled my tears, and I tried to sell my tears, and no one liked it.
It was good going to Japan, though, wasn't it? I mean,
I had a fun time.
that's actually like the furthest geographically I've been from home.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Before that, I hadn't left Europe. Although, hold on, thinking about it, where's the East Pole? Is it near? It might be near like Greenwich, isn't it? The East Pole.
What are you going on about now?
The East Pole. You know how there's a North Pole and a South Pole,
I'm aware of the concepts of the North and South Pole, yes.
and then there's the East one in Greenwich.
Why
So
the
I think
fuck?
I've been to the East Pole.
Well, number one, there's no East Pole.
What?
And number two, why the fuck would the East Pole be in Greenwich?
think
Which
I've
is
got it
nearer
wrong.
to the North Pole anyway.
No, you're right. I think it's actually in Africa, isn't it? Yeah, but it's like along the same
Greenwich, Africa.
line of. No, it's the same line
There's a
from.
Greenwich in Africa.
You know, if you cut the earth open like an apple.
It's like being trapped in a dream. Like a bad
One of
dream.
Cobley's dreams.
Yeah.
That must be horrible. No, I mean, you always do this. You always scrutinise things I say and make me sound like I'm an idiot for saying it. But, you know, obviously the East Pole isn't in Greenwich. I didn't mean that. I just mean it's on the same line geographically.
You're just changing your things that you're saying now.
You know, I didn't mean it. I'm just trying to think how far I've been.
Matt, I'm sorry to fucking do this to you.
What?
There's no East Pole or West Pole, is there?
Well, there has to be a West Pole, because otherwise, where would the East Pole be?
Well, I don't think there's an I'm just not. What I've just said.
Right. I mean, what are you actually? Are you contesting that there's an East Pole and thereby a West Pole?
What does it sound like I'm doing?
Well, it does actually sound like you're contesting it. You're going to tell. There's a North Pole as well. There are poles on the Earth, you know.
So just to clarify,
Yep.
there's a magnetic north-south.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying that there's also an East Pole to do with magnets and stuff.
There's a magnet for every direction, yeah. There's a magnet for North. There's a magnet for South. The North Pole magnet is the North one.
Just
The South Pole magnet is the South one. Do you
Matt.
see where I'm going with this?
no, Matt, Matt.
And it's really weird as well. Apparently, when you go there in Africa in the East Pole, your hair stands on end because of the magnet. Because I think there's like a magnet in the Earth, isn't there?
Shut up. I bet you that £40 that you gave me prior to us starting this podcast that
Right.
you owed me from last week,
Uh-huh.
that there's no East and West Pole.
But
Shake my hand. Do you want to do this? Because it's double or quits.
right, you know what? I was reading just today that there was an East Pole on the Googles, so I know there is a magnetic East Pole. So
Okay,
yes, I
okay,
will shake you on it.
All right.
Shake the hand. Oh, he's got wet hands. Is it from all the Pocari sweat?
Probably.
Yeah. Don't know why I'm talking like this.
Just look, Matt. Just get this over with. Just
Yep.
have a look.
East Pole. Here we go. Kiss my shades. Me and my mate went the East Pole. It's not a magnetic pole. Oh, I didn't mean about magnet. Oh, bollocks.
So what you just meant was if you just cut the Earth into 4 bits, there'd be a East Pole and a West Pole.
I can't believe your hair doesn't stand on end in the middle of Africa because of the East Pole. All right, here's your bloody money.
Thank you.
I can't believe there's not an East Pole.
So have you not had any wretched holidays, Matt?
I don't think I've ever had a wretched holiday that you've not been on with me.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say you ruined them all.
Thanks.
Or rather, we ruined them ourselves,
Probably.
I think. Do you remember when we went to Scotland?
Well, we've been a couple of times.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time we went up the Highlands?
I do.
That's a great voice. You should
Thanks.
do that for the rest of the episode.
Right, okay. I will.
Yeah, because it's
I remember
geographically
going
accurate.
to Scotland. No, best not actually.
We went to what we did is we thought, right, we want to go to Scotland, but we want to go to proper Scotland. So not like, I don't know, a city
A nice city.
or somewhere with things in it.
Yeah.
We went to north, even of the Highlands, so far Scotland that not even Scottish people went there, to a little village called Melvaig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which consisted of a couple of cottages,
Yep.
a field, some sheep, and a pub where the landlord lived in the other cottage
Yep.
to the one that we were stopping in.
And the pub was just his house. It was just like a
Yeah.
shack.
Yeah. And it had just one Scrabble board game, didn't it?
Yep.
And these were times before the internet, children.
You couldn't get internet Scrabble like you can now and look up words on it.
No.
No, it was
We
real
spent-
Scrabble where we had to not have a dictionary
We were
and
there for
agree
a
what
week.
words were words. We were there for a week, but the pub only opened on, I think it was Thursdays, Fridays, and some of Saturday.
Yeah. It was arguably worse than Tenerife, really.
Well, there wasn't a sun lounge and children throwing beach balls at us, but there wasn't anything at all, so
No.
no. It was, it's the only time in my life I've ever got some reading done.
We had a beard competition.
That was, it comes to something when the best thing that happens in your holiday is the beard competition.
Yeah. We grew it.
How long can your beard grow in a
week.
In a week. Not very long. It
Not very
was the
long.
answer to that one. And then we shaved it off on the last day, took some photographs, and drove home.
It's always fun, isn't it, shaving off a beard?
Yeah, and even the drive home was so miserable because it was raining so bad. Driving down from the tip of Scotland.
Yeah.
I'm getting depressed.
We killed
again,
someone
Matt.
on the way back, didn't we? They never found out who it was, though.
Yeah. We also left one of our friends there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James.
James. Yeah.
I miss James.
I don't.
He was a funny fella. I know you two didn't get on.
It said a lot about him that we all forgot about him and just drove home and left him up there.
I suppose there was nothing to him, really, wasn't there? He was just taking up space.
I wouldn't like to go back now because he's probably
gone native with the Melvagians.
Yeah, he'd be like the king of Melvaig now, wouldn't he?
Dressed in like fur.
Running naked, through the
and
fields.
with a proper beard that he's grown without a competition element to it.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't give him a second thought.
No.
You ever seen the Loch Ness Monster?
Yeah.
You have?
No.
Well, Matt, seeing as this podcast is fast becoming just a list of places where we've been to around the world.
What's wrong with that?
Shit anecdotes about the places that we've been. I thought I'd add another one to the list.
It's a good idea.
A few years ago, I went to Florida, in America.
Oh, in the US of States, yeah.
Yes, yeah. A good few years ago now, before Facebook.
Before Facebook and...
Anyway, my point is I went to McDonald's in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Which was remarkably similar to a McDonald's restaurant in the United Kingdom.
Is this anecdote going anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Behind me in the queue was a American...
In America?
Bloke. Shut up.
Sorry.
Your purpose here is to sit and listen.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cobley. Please continue.
Anyway, behind me in the queue was an American man and his little son. And bear in mind, we were quite close to Disneyland, one of the resorts.
Is that why you went, or was it a coincidence?
It was just a complete coincidence.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a Disneyland in Florida.
Right.
But anyway,
there is actually. So
I'm in the queuing up for a fucking smoothie. And I hear this conversation between this bloke and his kid behind me. And I just hear, "Oh, Dad." And I'm not even over-exaggerating here. "Oh, Dad, could it be really true? Are we really going to Disneyland later today?" And he goes, "Why, yes, son. It's really true. We're here." Honestly, and I was like, is he actually having a conversation with his child? Or is he trying to get the attention of everybody in the restaurant? Anyway, and this kid goes, "Oh, Dad, this is just so amazing. I can't believe it, Dad. I must be dreaming. Pinch me, Dad. Pinch me to make sure that I'm not dreaming." Honestly, and I'm like this. I'm fucking cringing. And this bloke goes, "Okay, son," and pinches him. And this kid goes, "Ow, guess I'm not dreaming." What a surreal conversation to be listening to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so is it because I'm a cynical, miserable British twat that I found that annoying?
Yes, it is that.
Would you have found that endearing? Would you have gone, "Oh, little
I
lad"?
joined in. I go, can't do an American accent, so I'll just do a northern one. Can I be a kid as well?
I can't believe I'm at Disneyland
I
either.
can't believe. I wonder Mickey Mouse will be there. Watch out for him. I'd say, and I just hope he would accept me as one of his own, because Americans are very family oriented, and I think if one of them accepted me into their family, I
don't know.
I could have had the upbringing I always wanted.
Yeah, well, the point of my story is that I'm clearly such a miserable bastard, and this little child was quite happy about being taken to one of the most popular.
Do you not
theme
think though
parks
that
in the
they were
world.
just performing? What do you think? Maybe Disneyland plant people like bad actors to play
No, I
out
never thought of that.
scenes like that.
I never thought of that.
There might have been one down the road of great improvising, Matt. What funny thing might have been happening down the road from Cobley's McDonald's near Disneyland? Come on, Matt, come up with something. Yeah, probably one down the road of another a girl child enthusing to her mum. "I've just seen the Little Mermaid, Ma, and she got a real tail, and she was swimming around, and one day she gonna be a real quill." Probably that was happening down the road.
If I heard that, I think I'd get violently aggressive.
All right, is that why you're looking at me with a kind of menacing, murderous frown?
By that, I mean I would fly back to the United Kingdom, locate you, and beat you up if I heard that on the street.
And if I'd known what you'd been through, I'd think I'd say it's a fair cop, Gov, and no mistake.
Yeah. Interesting theory, though, Matt. Interesting theory.
Yeah, well, that's what I bring to the podcast. Interesting theories.
So, listeners, it's that time again for Cobley to educate us and give us something to hold on to brain information-wise. I am good at presenting. It's the Cobley's Culture section.
Oh, thanks,
Roll
mate.
the jingle.
Thanks, mate. You didn't forget.
I know, right?
Before you roll the jingle, that was a good little intro.
Whack it on.
You made me happy.
I know.
Yes, and I'm intrigued to see what you've done now with the jingle.
You're going to like this one, mate. I put music on it and everything.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
Cobley's Culture Section. Wah, 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 wah.
Is that a fucking kazoo?
Yeah.
Are you? Is something wrong with you?
What are you on about? I put music on it.
Is something wrong with you? I know you're trying to antagonise me, Matthew. That's why I'm not going to slap you.
Look, I've done...
Have you done a proper one?
That was the proper one.
That was the proper one.
Yeah.
That's just the same one from last week with
It's
the
got a
beat.
musical instrument on it.
It's the sound.
Played that live. Live
The
instrument.
I
Live instrumentation.
I appreciate that you added a kazoo to it, but I don't want my fucking voice from 4 podcasts ago or whatever giving you an example of what I want the jingle to sound like.
That's
The idea was...
That's a good point. Actually, no, you're right. I should get rid of your voice from it.
It should be a tune.
Do it.
It should be an actual jingle,
Do it properly.
and not the sound of me
Yeah.
telling you what it should sound like.
All right.
You know, you do jingles. You did the for this podcast with the I've got a podcast, baby. You did that.
I might use that.
I just want something, you know, just highly produced. I sung that as an example. I don't even know I have to spell it out to you, but I sung that as an example.
Look, okay, next week I'll bring a proper one, and it won't even have your vocals on it. I'll have
Well, good. I want some actual vocals.
Yeah. I'll get
actual singing,
professional singers,
actual sounds, an actual jingle,
like a gospel choir or something.
Have I spelt that out?
Yeah, you're right. I think right. Anyway, you know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've upset you. And
I've just spent this whole podcast like in a bad mood, haven't I? I should cheer up, but you've just annoyed me even more.
cheer up! It's your own section. You should be happy about it.
It is. Yeah. It is.
Tell us about your culture. Where is Germany geographically?
It's in
I've
Europe.
always wondered about this.
It's in Europe.
Okay.
You've been to Germany?
Yeah, I don't know how I got there. Do I know?
No. Well, there's one thing that you didn't do,
What?
and that's you didn't fly because it's a well-known fact that you can't actually fly to Germany.
That's true. I remember there being an announcement about that. Yeah.
Well, it's just always been the case. There's not been an announcement. What are you going on about? There's been an announcement.
There was you know, when I was
An
at
announcement?
I was at the airport, and it says now
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
customers are reminded that there are no flights to Germany.
I suppose, yeah, because
No flights to Germany.
I have turned up at the airport a couple of times and thought, oh, fucking hell, you're right, I can't
always forget
fly.
that, don't you?
Yeah, no.
It's one of those things that you only remember when you get to the airport, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, but anyway, my culture section today about the Germany.
Mm-hmm.
As everybody knows, I am half German.
Yeah.
So I know a lot about Germany, and that's what I'm instilling this education on you and the listeners.
You're giving of yourself, or at least of half of yourself.
Yes. But which half?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Yeah. So anyway, but there are many ways to get to Germany. You just can't fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's loads of ways. Train.
Train.
You can walk if you want.
Walk to it.
There's a bit of water.
Yeah.
Swim that bit, or get a boat. That might be quicker.
Get a boat, like, because there's a river. Probably the Rhine.
You can paraglide.
Yeah.
It's not flying. It's just from an airport on an airplane. You can paraglide to Germany. You just got to get to a high enough point that you can float on down.
Now, do you know why it is that you can't fly to Germany?
No.
No.
It's just been one of those things. You know, why do we wear shoes? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone does it.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, nobody knows what it's like. It's like it's a fashion thing, isn't it? But why?
No, I'm actually on board with this culture section this week. I think I wasn't so interested in it in the other weeks where it was all boring and I'm banging on about like sulfuric acid or whatever it is that you said they.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about the past.
Yeah, but this week this is genuinely interesting. So that you can't fly to Germany at all.
Nope.
Now, is it not to do with the air there?
No. It's
all
not.
right.
It's normal. It's normal in Germany.
It's fine.
Normal
it's
air.
completely fine.
Yeah.
Is it to do with something about the way that the land lies for runways and stuff?
No. To be honest, Matt, I wouldn't know if there was a reason anyway. It's one of those things that's just been there for so long that I think nobody knows. There was probably a reason at one point, but now that's just how it is.
Funny things that everyone accepts.
Yeah, but there's just this.
Even if you ask a German about it, like someone who's a full one, not just an half
not
one,
a half,
they'll just say, "Yeah, just best not, just leave it. Best just leave it.
Don't go into it. Don't
Tend to
like
say.
to talk
In
about
that voice
it,
as well, they say, yeah, just leave it, mate. Leave it.
mate. Yeah.
Can't go banging on about it, mate.
There's shitloads of ways to get to Germany anyway, so you don't really need to fly there anyway.
Yeah. Skateboard. Go skateboard.
Yeah. You can drink a magic potion.
Yes.
Traveling potion.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah. It's actually one of the few countries you can get to via magic potion, I think.
One of a handful.
Yeah. It's not the only one, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not deluded.
Ouija board.
Ouija board. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's dangerous though, isn't it?
It can be
Because you're getting what you're basically doing is getting a ride on a ghost's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it depends. Yeah, you got to know what you're doing with
It's a bit touch and go with that.
with that kind of thing.
But it's cheap. It's cheap. Cheap as chips getting on the Ouija board.
So this culture section is now over, but I don't want to hear that horrific jingle again, Matt.
All right.
You have cheered me up a little bit though, saying that you liked it. So
Yeah, it was good.
I'm not going to assault you this week
Oh, thanks, mate.
after the podcast. I'm only joking. I wouldn't lay a hand on you. Although we did.
Oh, damn.
We've had one fight, haven't we, in our time of being friends?
I remember in Melvague, I hit you with a pizza box.
Yeah, but that wasn't serious, was it?
I was a bit cross with you. So
Why were you cross? I don't even remember that.
I don't know. I think I disagreed with you on the dishwashing system, and I got angry, and I proper cracked you on the head with an empty pizza box.
That's because we had some washing up liquid there, and you used a ridiculous amount of washing up liquid. So we had to go out and drive to the nearest
Sparkly clean.
supermarket, which was like 200 miles away, to get a bottle of washing up liquid, which was right anyway. I don't remember you hitting me with
The food tasted a bit
pizza
funny
box,
after
though.
that.
No, the one time I remember us having a scrap was in high school because I had a packet of Doritos crisps and you wanted one, and I was deliberately antagonising you, saying no, and eating them slowly in front of you. And we just like started scrapping, and like I just remember like rolling around on the floor as we were like pinning each other on the floor.
Then we started to snog.
Fuck off. Yeah, and you got the upper hand, and you just like stood up and like dusted your hands off and walked away while I was on the floor. So yeah, so we've had one proper little scrap in our time, and you won. How do you feel? Feel good? You still feel good?
I feel like our relationship henceforth has just been the two of us trying to come to terms with that.
I think it has.
That day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I lost when I hit you with a pizza box, though. I think everyone loses there. We should start our own country. In fact, we did, didn't we? A while ago. Guess when? That's right, school.
That's all we can talk about.
We went to the same one. It was a brilliant coincidence. I remember when we decided to just form our own independent state on the school grounds in the sort of wooded area around the front.
Yeah, at the front of the school.
Where you're not allowed to go.
Yeah.
But no one could see us there, so we never got in trouble for being there.
We were kind of out the way, like behind like a science area in a wooded...
Where they were doing research into the ozone, I believe.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, a group of us decided, we're going to form our own country, and called it, what was it?
It was called the Brilliant Republic of Armageddon.
Yeah,
Because
catchy.
yeah.
A republic, because we broke off from the United Kingdom.
Yep.
And it was shortened to Broa.
Broa.
TBROA.
Which sounds like a kind of country, doesn't it? To Broa.
Yeah. But no, we proper got into it as well because we were like writing...
We wrote a kind of history book for it.
Yeah.
The founding of
you had
the
a little what they call palm top.
Yeah.
We were like, we'd decree the laws and stuff and we'd type on them.
It was very modern. It's not like today where they don't have palm top computers anymore.
No, we proper got into this founding our own country.
We got quite strict on border control. I remember people wanting to join up and being exiled from
telling to go and then
from the country for not having enough money.
Yeah.
Back its conkers.
Yeah, and groups of kids would try and
invaders,
yeah,
like foreign invaders,
send them off. Yeah, and our currency was conkers.
Yep.
Yeah, that was part of the constitution. Yeah, written on your palm top.
Yeah. What natural resources did Tobroa have?
Well, I think it was just conkers. That's why it was the
so it was the currency and the thing you buy. That's the best kind of currency.
We did try and exchange conkers for goods. I recall.
Yeah.
I don't know if you took part in that, but it didn't last very long because we were giving each other packets of crisps and getting more conkers in return. It wasn't really working as a currency. But,
and then we tried it down the shops and had even less success.
Because that was the United Kingdom, wasn't it?
And we had to go to the post office to get them changed.
Yeah, and the exchange rate.
They said, "Oh, we've not got any in. We've not got any in."
And the pound's so shit.
Yeah,
that we didn't get a good exchange.
Giving it all. Oh, that's not real money. Oh,
yeah.
We've never heard of Tobroa. Oh,
yeah.
Get out of our shop, you strange children. You should be at school. Oh, you're That post office bloke needs to be sacked.
He does.
Yeah, he doesn't know what
He does.
he's talking about. What laws did we have?
I can't remember. I remember sitting down on the steps of Tobroa
Yeah.
and like scripting certain things. It would have been like I can't remember. I just remember the conquer currency thing. But there were certainly rules in the Constitution. There were certainly laws.
Yeah. I think it was mainly about how we get all the conkers and everyone has to do what we say. Because we were kind of the joint president, weren't we?
I think so, yeah. I would certainly
The presiduo.
we liked to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the boundaries of the brilliant Republic of Armageddon was at the front of the school as it curved round into the back of the science block where it was a bit more wooded and protected. And we used to like to sit on the steps. We were kind of in view of any pupils.
The steps, the only monument in Tobroa.
Yes, yes.
The Tobroan steps.
There would have been more if it had lasted more than 2 months.
If we'd invested a bit more conkers in getting the man labour.
Yeah.
Yes, the man
So,
labour.
anyway, so we like to sit on the step. We were collecting conkers probably to make a statue of both of us.
We've got some nice holiday snaps of that, actually.
Yeah. So anyway, my point is that the brilliant Republic of Armageddon merged back with the United Kingdom.
Dissolved.
When
A hostile
we were
takeover.
sat on the steps of Tobroa, and the religious studies teacher, who for the purpose of this podcast we'll call Mr. Drummond.
Strange name to come up with, just off the cuff.
It's just off the top of my head.
Yeah. You're kind of genius, aren't you?
Walked past and saw us sat on the steps in the part of the school where we weren't meant to be. And having already told us not to be sat there the day previously, went absolutely apeshit. And
Declared war on Tobroa.
basically, yeah, and ordered me and you. I don't know why he picked on me and you.
We were the
probably.
presiduo.
He thought, take out the president and the country crumbles.
Destabilised the governmental system.
And it worked, didn't it? So he went...
Because we should have just stood our ground and said, not your bloody country, mate.
Yeah.
Go home.
Well, that's because we were kids, weren't we? So we didn't have that thought set. So he shouted, screamed at us, and told us to wait outside the staff room for him while he had to sort a couple of things. And we fucking scurried into the school, scurried outside the staff room, and we were like stood waiting for Mr. Drummond to fucking come out to roast us alive for not listening to him the day before. And I remember turning to you and just going, "Why are we waiting here, Matt?
Yeah.
Let's just go." And we just went, and we never had any repercussions for that. Well, actually, we did have a repercussion for that because the brilliant Republic of Armageddon was no more, because by the time we returned to the country, the populace had turned it upside down.
Dispersed.
Yeah.
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 The conker trees had wilted.
Yeah. The animals started to try to rule the farm, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the conkers were gone.
The snails.
It was over. Yeah.
Snails just weren't the same.
The UK government took back their the land and just
Stripped it of all its resources and then just left it for dead. And isn't that just the story of this fucking podcast?
But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
If it was now, if we went back now to the
Dressed
Brilliant
in our
Republic of
school
Armageddon,
uniforms.
dressed in our school uniforms and stuff, and Mr. Drummond
Put a
went walking
flag down and
past.
said, we're forming a country, we're forming a country.
Yeah, and Mr. Drummond went walking past going,
Yeah.
I thought I fucking told you to!
Yeah.
15 years ago!
Not your bloody country, mate.
We'd say, we'd say,
Look, we bought a flag this time. We've invested real money in it for buy some conkers.
we'd say, stay there, Drummond. Do not walk into our country. It looks, the borders are open, but they're not really.
Yeah, not to the likes of you, not to someone on the blacklist of the Brilliant Republic.
Exactly. And he was. He was. I just say, you are wanted, and it's a good job that there's no agreement with Interpol yet, because you're wanted for crimes against the Brilliant Republic of Armageddon for its near downfall 15 years ago. You step 1 foot onto our country, we will arrest you, the presidents will arrest you.
Because we're basically the police force as well as the presidential.
Well, there wasn't that many people in the Brilliant Republic of Armageddon, so we had to share jobs.
It was a lot of admin.
Yeah, we had to share jobs around.
Yeah.
So we'd just arrest him, tie him up, drag him around the back of the science block, and then interrogate him. See what information we can get about the United Kingdom. That we could use to get more land. You know what I'm saying, Matt?
Do that, yeah.
That's what we do now.
I can see no negative repercussions from us doing that.
From us torturing a religious studies teacher.
No, I think we should be firm but fair.
We'd
poke him with a stick, and then we'd rub his face with a conker.
He might escape, He might escape, he might go to the police, but the police, the United Kingdom police, have got no jurisdiction over the Brilliant Republic of Armageddon, so there's nothing they could do, really.
I mean, we could just do this, couldn't we?
I'm working tomorrow though.
I'd like to say we should do it. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, maybe in the weekend. So like, if you're free, if your wife's not doing something with you,
Well, I've got
just
to
go to.
I've got to.
Or just tell her you should go in your old school. To
Can't
form
really do that.
Form a country.
Yeah, I could do, couldn't I? I could actually. I was meant to be walking the dogs this
That's a good
weekend.
idea.
Going on a dog walking thing.
Not the dog, and that could be like the country dog.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
You know, like how the
Could
Queen
just
has
say-
got a dog.
Yeah, could just say, "Hey, dear.
Yeah.
I know we're meant to be going to that nice park
Mm.
to walk the dogs, but how about we go to my old high school instead?
Yeah.
On the steps leading around the back of the science block
And start putting up a fence
and start. Yeah.
and building a small torture chamber for Mr. Drummond.
What do you know? I'm liking this idea, Matt.
The wheels are in motion. This is already happening. We're going to do it. Stay tuned for next week. We'll come back with a report of how that's going. It'll be our new regular section.
Matt. It'd be a stretch to say I've enjoyed myself today on the
Well,
the
it's
podcast.
Drummond will be stretching on the rack.
But it's been all right compared to other times. I've smiled a couple more times.
See,
You know
that's
what I
all
mean?
it takes. I just flattered you about your stupid bloody culture section, and now you're all
I know, I'm happy now.
podcast now.
Well, that's what you need to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
You make me happy rather than
You're
miserable.
wearing a nice red shirt.
Thank you. Yeah.
Got a picture of a football on it.
I've got a picture of a football on
I
it.
didn't see it for your microphone.
It's
I
a
just decided what
bird.
it was.
It's a little bird thing.
Yeah,
A little bird flying.
bird with a fire on
Yeah,
it.
this
It's
is
a
not-
seagull. That's a nostalgic
This is not-
t-shirt. It's got a seagull on it
Yeah,
from the olden days.
It's not. This isn't good audio though. This isn't, Matt.
It's nice.
Oh, look at what you're wearing, Cobley. Look at it. Oh, doesn't it look nice? Oh, what a nice smell. What a nice smell in the room. It's not good audio, is it?
Well, this is going to be the first olfactory podcast, so it will be like smell-o-vision as well as audio. So, in your face, Cobley, this podcast is going to fucking stink, mate.
Matt, I think
Brilliant improv.
at the risk of, I don't want to risk fading away.
Right.
I would rather this podcast burnt out right now. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. I've been Matt Party Time Corner.
And I've been Cobley. And next week, we'll probably be bringing the podcast to you from either A, the Brilliant Republic of Armageddon,
Yep.
or B,
In prison.
a prison. Yeah, prison. Yeah.
Live from prison.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Stay safe. Love and kisses.
Because I do every week. Well,
Something gone wrong with your voice, Cobley?
I'm okay.
Matt and Cobley's podcast. Matt and Cobley's podcast.
Bloody hell's happened there, Matt?
Stop the theme tune.
Stop the theme tune.
Stop the theme tune.
Why am I still here? What's happening?
We forgot to do the letters section.
Oh, no, right, yeah. Oh, yes, the letters section.
Yeah. I'm going to have to mend that theme tune, actually. I don't think it's working properly.
You're enthusiastic about this, aren't
I'm
you?
enthusiastic about most things, aren't I?
How are we going to do this? Let's play the letters jingle.
Letters. La 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 letters. Letters. La 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 la. Letters. La 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 letters. Letters. La 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 la.
It's nice, that little jingle, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, well, I won't be happy until this show is wall-to-wall jingles. I might
Yeah.
even do one for you.
I'm not going to get into this again.
Right.
So, over the past 5 weeks or so, the good people at home, have been sending us
All
letters.
12 of you.
All
12 of you.
Yeah. To our website, Sorry, I've broken. www.mattandcobley.com, where you can go there and you can send us a letter. Or, if you really want to, send us a lettuce. I was listening back to the first episode of this podcast, earlier. And
You poor thing.
I know,
Were
it's-
you bored?
It's classic stuff. But it occurred to me we weren't really clear what we were talking about with the lettuces. So maybe we
Right.
should explain it. If you go to our website, www.mattandcobley.com, you can send us a letter or you can send us a lettuce.
I mean, to be honest, there's no reason for anybody to do either of those things. I mean, if you really want to send us a letter, we'll read it out today or in 5 weeks' time in the last episode. But just, what's the point in sending a lettuce?
I
This
see
is
it
what I
as a
ask all the
kind
time.
of popularity contest between me
Popularity
and you.
contest.
Yeah.
With lettuces.
Yeah.
with a vegetable that doesn't really taste of much on its own.
Well, how else can the people at home show appreciation of me or you? So, I've kept a tally of who's been sent the most lettuces, and at the end of the series, we'll find out who's best out of me and you.
Are you going to give us a tally now on this episode halfway? Like a midweek charts that they do?
I'll vet the tally, and then I'll
Midweek.
decide whether I'll read it out or not.
Midweek tally, right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to these goddamn letters.
Let's open the mailbox. This first letter is from Les.
Les, our old friend Les.
Friend of the show. Dear Cobley or Matt, read my fucking letter out this time instead of made up stuff. You don't even read these, do you? Les.
That was a bit rude, wasn't it?
Very aggressive, Les.
We read his letter out the other week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And that wasn't made up.
No.
Why would we do that? We would never do that.
I know, and made up stuff. We don't make anything up on this show.
Right.
We don't have that ability.
Les, do you know what? You're not going to Cobley's stag do now.
Yeah, you can go and find another stag do to go on, Les. You're not coming on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you now on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll find someone else that can come.
Although, in the continuity of this podcast, aren't you already married?
Yeah, well, you know what, Les? You're banned from coming on my stag do back in time, so fucking remove yourself from my stag do from all those years ago. Yeah. You didn't contribute much anyway.
Yeah, Les.
Yeah, Les. Yeah, stop sending us abusive letters, Les. Bringing us down, Les.
We shouldn't really be abusive to our correspondents. We should be more
encouraging. We shouldn't, but if Les was nice to us, if he'd have sent us a nice letter about how good looking we both are, then we'd have been a little bit nicer, and maybe I would have done a little bit, we could have travelled back in time and he could have done something more in the stag do. I don't know. He could have been
chief stag.
He could have been the stag. Yeah, I'd have made him the stag. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What's the next letter?
Well, do you want to read this one out? It's from Joe Mudd.
Oh yes, Joe Mudd, one of your chums. I'm sure he'll be a little bit nicer than Les has been.
Yeah, he's from Dan South.
From Dan South. Dear Matt, listening to your podcast, I take it these things are a few years old, or are you pretending to still be at the flat in Newtonley Willers as some kind of tax dodge?
What? Oh, shit. I mean, I don't know what you're on about, Joe. That is ridiculous. And if there's anyone from the Inland Revenue listening to this, I am still living here.
Yeah.
And anyone who says that I'm not is lying, and it's actionable, Joe Mudd. Actionable. And the less said about that letter, the better.
We don't want Matt to go to prison.
No.
We've still got 5 more weeks of this shit to do.
This next letter is from Chappie. Dear Matt, I found an old packet of Francho's crisps down the back of my sofa the other day and thought of you. What time do you go to bed at night? I'm just curious, no other reason. Chappie.
What the fuck does that mean, Matt? What the hell kind of message is that? It means not what.
Well, it means he's found a bag of crisps. It reminds him of me.
I can understand how finding an old bag of crisps down the back of a sofa would remind someone of you, Matt.
Right.
But why are people typing this stuff in for us to read out on a podcast? I found an old packet of Francho's crisps down the back of my sofa the other day and thought, what the hell's a packet of Francho's crisps? What's a Francho?
Is it a bit like a Freddo?
I don't know.
They've just branched out into crisps.
I don't know. I just...
Well, anyway, Chappie, in answer to your question, I don't go to bed at night because I can't sleep without drugs.
Which is quite true, actually, because you've recently been to the GP, haven't you?
Yeah, they've prescribed me with some very powerful sedatives. So that's it's just a nice little snippet from my life.
True story. Matt has insomnia. True story. Yeah, random stuff. You're meant to have filtered through these, Matt, and got rid of some of these weird ones about my dreams and stuff like that. Why are some of these random ones lingering?
I don't know. I'm just excited to have any correspondence, really. Do you want to read this really long one about American politics that I've got in front of me?
I don't want to read one about American politics in front of you.
No.
We can do a podcast about politics.
See how that pans out.
See how that one pans out, yeah.
All right, how about this one? This is from Alistair Craig from Brisbane, Australia.
Okay. It's my turn, isn't it, to read?
Oh, go on then.
Dear Matt and Cobley, you have the choice of any word in the English language.
Wow.
Thanks, Alistair. From this day forth, anyone who utters it will involuntarily shout it as if it were written in capital letters and write it as if it were shouted.
Right.
You have one word each to ruin or amplify as you see fit. What do you choose? Godspeed.
Alistair Craig.
Does he, presumably, so he means we have to pick a word.
Yeah. Anybody who utters it will involuntarily shout it!
Like that.
As if it were written in capital letters.
So this is all hypothesis,
and write
isn't
it as if it were shouted!
But clearly this isn't actually going to happen.
I mean,
It's not a thing that'll happen, is
Well, I
it?
don't know. The power of this podcast.
The power of the podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are 12 disciples. The 12 people that listen to this podcast are going to start screaming. I don't know.
If I could have a word in the English, can I add the word myself? And
do
can I make it Matt and Cobley's podcast, all one word?
Well, so every time someone ushers the word Matt and Cobley's podcast,
Yeah.
all one word.
But I have to make it mean something that means people say it a lot. So how about the definition of Matt and Cobley's podcast, all one word, is... sorry!
No, it should be something like sorry, shouldn't it? So if
Yeah.
someone's trying to apologise, they just scream
Sorry!
in your face.
It's a good idea. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And mine would be condolences. Yeah, condolences. Yeah, that would have been fun to do for when Great Aunt Cobley died.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
God rest her
everyone,
soul.
everyone was sending the condolences and then screaming it down everybody's ear. That would have been funny. Yeah, well.
I've got another one from Alistair Crane,
Hindsight.
brackets Brisbane,
Another one
Australia
from
here.
Alistair.
This is to you,
Right.
but I'll read it to you. Dear Cobley, can you please ask Matt if he'll sing the song about getting vinegar again? Thank you.
That's the last thing on earth I would ask Matt to do. The last thing I would ask him to do. The last thing.
This next letter is from Anonymous, brackets Brisbane, Australia.
Anonymous from Brisbane, Australia. Yes, we've definitely got a big following in Brisbane, haven't we? So this could only be from one person. Dear Cobley, from off of Matt and Cobley, I was greatly saddened by your story in episode 4 Fun, in which a DJ cruelly cut you off halfway through your karaoke rendition of Radiohead's Paranoid Android. I was greatly saddened by that as well. In the interests of finding your own personal closure, could you please regale your listeners here and now with the complete version, if it's not too much trouble? Well, Alistair, I could do, but this podcast has already become I think it's the longest one that we've done so far ever, and it's very likely that
Unless we edit a lot of it out.
it's very likely, Alistair, that you're the only person listening right now to us talking.
The only person.
Also, Alistair, being the only person listening to us talking now, if I did start singing Paranoid Android by Radiohead, me and Matt would just be talking to ourselves because you'd stop, you'd turn off, you'd think, no, that was a bad thing to ask Cobley to do, and you'd flick the off switch and you'd go and do something more interesting, which is probably a lot of things.
I'm very happy to sing a song about vinegar if anyone wants me to, though. But unfortunately, no one has
The last
written in
thing,
to ask me
the
to do that.
last thing that I want you to do.
Unfortunately.
The last thing that I would ever want you to do, Matt. Even if you had a knife to your throat and said, I'm going to plunge it into my neck.
Splunge it.
So I'm going to splunge this knife into my neck or sing the Vinegar song.
Yeah.
I would say, it's been nice knowing you, Matt. Condolences! That's what I'd say to your family.
I can do a version of Paranoid Android if you'd like.
Paranoid Android, paranoid Android.
Oh, he thinks everybody's against him. Thinks the world's against him.
Paranoid.
The version I've heard is a bit strange.
It is, but yeah.
I hope we're not going to have to pay Thom Yorke money for that. This next letter is from your big fan Josh. Dear Cobley or Matt, I like that... Jesus Christ, big fan Josh. I like that you guys always tell the truth in your Truthful podcast about subjects you don't know about. I think it is dead good.
Me too.
Maybe you could talk about animals. What even are they? I don't think anybody knows. P.S. I hope you enjoy the lettuce.
We've actually considered doing a podcast about animals, haven't we?
Right.
I think we've wrote that on the list. That probably will be an episode eventually. Because, yeah, we don't really know anything about animals.
Yeah, what are they?
Yeah. I mean, I've got 2 of them.
What?
I've got 2 animals.
What?
I've got 2 animals.
Wow.
What do you mean, wow? You know that I've got... What do you think those things are that bark every time you come around my house and try to bite your kneecaps?
Tamagotchi.
All right. Oh, you know they're animals.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll probably do one of those episodes, Josh. And your little PS. We don't enjoy the lettuce. Well, I don't enjoy the lettuce. I don't know about Matt. I think he secretly does. Anyway.
Remember, whoever gets the most is the best. Oh, I had one comment on Facebook, by the way, from J.R. Robinson.
JR.
He says, you missed a treat not calling yourselves Corn on the Cob.
What, the podcast?
Yeah.
Corn on the Cob.
Yeah.
Because your surname's Cornah and my surname's Cobley.
Oh, I was wondering what it was on about.
he just thought of a random name.
Right.
It's something that we're gonna have to live with.
I think
now,
it would attract a different audience if it was called that.
Corn on the Cob.
Yeah.
What kind of audience?
I don't know, farmers from the deep south.
Farmers. Who are? Don't even listen to some Corn on the Cob. See what are those two pair talking about this week?
Oh, probably something that they don't know nothing about.
Who are? Maybe we'll do a podcast about farms.
Yeah, farms. Put that on the list.
Yeah, farms.
Anyway, total amount of lettuces sent to Matt, 49.
Whoa, that came out of nowhere, Matt.
Yep.
Bloody hell. Right.
Yeah,
so 49.
Yep.
Right.
Total amount of lettuces sent. Oh,
go on.
70.
So, well, don't be sad, Matt, because I don't feel like there's a victory here. just because.
Stop sending lettuces to Cobley. Send them to me.
I do not for 1 second believe there are 119 people listening to this podcast, which also leads me to think that there's some absolute loser that just keeps clicking and sending lettuces. You're a loser. So yeah, I don't consider it a victory in the slightest, Matt. I consider it a loss, a failure.
Letters, la 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 la, letters, letters, la 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 la.
We'll see you next week for more bollocks. Next week we'll be talking about parapsychology.
Yes, we will. Send letters in. Go to the website. Go to YouTube. Do what you like.
Yep.
Live your lives. Do what you like.
Sorry this episode went on for too long. Next week it'll be shorter.
It might be. I'm a paranoid android.
Android.
Everybody's coming to get me.
Ooh, I'm a robot.
Oh, what's that under the stairs? No, it's nothing. I thought it might have been something that would have made my life somehow worse.
Somehow worse.
Oh, I'm a paranoid android. Who's that at the door? Is it the police? No, it's just the postman delivering some flowers. I don't know why I'm paranoid about the police coming round. Maybe if they found out I was an android, the government wouldn't like that very much, would they now? Oh, I'm a paranoid android. Help me, please. Let me go to the doctors. Will you prescribe me some nuts and bolts that'll make me feel less like a paranoid android? Then I could be called just an android. Then I wouldn't think everybody was out to get me. Are you happy now, Alistair? From Brisbane? Are you happy at what you've done?
Matt and Cobley's podcast, do-be-do-be-do. 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 It wasn't really written. It was also edited by Mike Cobley. Music was by Matt Cornah and Cinnamon Lampshade. Artwork by Josh Cornah. That's the end of the Matt and Cobley's podcast. Do-be-do-be-do. Matt and Cobley's podcast. Do-be-do-be-do. Matt and Cobley's podcast. Do-be-do-be-do. Matt and Cobley's podcast.